This podcast is a proud member of Pod Nation Media Network. Are you tired of the coffee crash? Still jittery an hour after your morning cup of coffee? Listen, I used to drink 5, 6, 7 cups a day to just keep going. The anxiety, the stomach pains, the afternoon crash, it was brutal. Then I discovered Rise Coffee, and everything changed. Rise has less than half the caffeine as regular coffee, but here's the magic. It contains 6 organic mushrooms, including cordyceps, lion's mane, and others that naturally sustain your energy without the jitters or crash. We're talking sharper focus, immune support, better gut health, and calm, sustained energy that lasts all day. Plus, it's organic, vegan, and has 0 added sugars. Unlike other mushroom coffees, Rise is USA grown in California. A full spectrum of mushrooms per serving that actually works. Here at Pod Nation, we only partner with brands we actually believe in. And Rise Coffee is the real deal. Head to risesuperfoods.com and use promo code PODNA15 for 15% off your order. That's PODNA 15 for 15% off. Ditch the crash. Fuel your day the right way with Rise Coffee.
I see ghosts, specters all around me, living in stock, blazing the dark. One by one, pictures gather around me. Where those moonflowers used to rust no more. Specters gather around here, living in stock, blazing the dark. Night by night, stare into the black where moonflowers used to grow.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal Normal. I know, it's been a while since I've seen you guys. What's up with that? Don't blame me. My guests have been canceling and just not showing up. So, don't blame me. But, as I've been alluding to for a while, as many as you already know, this is my last episode before a couple month hiatus because I have a new baby coming and I need to take time off to make sure I'm around to help 24/7 with that if need be. So I am taking a hiatus off the lives for this show, but you know how I always say, folks, that I'm here trying to make the world more normal. Well, what a way to end this show before the first hiatus in 2.5 years. Yes, I've earned this, but because tonight we're going to try and make it normal. Actually, I've been promising something for 2.5 years, and I'm finally freaking doing it. So, yes, congratulate me, applaud, clap my hands, thank you, all that and that good stuff. But, as always, I have brought a guest with me on this quest. My guest tonight, I've been looking forward to this one, folks. Arlene Miller, a work-life balance coach above it all, but don't worry. You think I would go completely normal, you're out of your damn mind. There's some paranormal stuff in here as well, and we'll get to all that in a bit. But how you doing tonight, Arlene?
I'm doing great, Jeremy, and congratulations. You didn't tell me why you're taking your little hiatus. That's a big deal. That's really wonderful.
I wanted to see the look on your face when I said it, and I got my reward. So,
Great.
I am a man who likes to see the look on people's faces when he says certain things. So, it's just the way it goes. I'm happy to have you on tonight. So, let's start the show. Same way I start for every show, even though it's a little different. What brought you down the path to I'm not even going to call it paranormal, to the spirituality side of life and all the other things that you do besides work-life balance?
Well, I always sort of felt like I was a round peg trying to fit in a square hole in the world from the time that I was a child. I can even remember when I was in like about 5 or 6, we were driving down our neighborhood and there was this brown house that nobody ever came out of. And I asked my mother, I was sure that I'd been born to the people there and not to the family. She didn't even know what I was talking about. But so I always sort of felt that way. And so I got married. And when my son was almost 3 years old, I got divorced and he developed ADHD. And before that, I've been looking in some things that were healing things that I could learn. But I just went on a quest to help him because I don't know if it was triggered by the divorce or if it always been genetic. I kind of think of a little bit that too. And so I just went on a quest to help him to heal. And in the process, I learned a lot of healing modalities. I helped him to heal and to be the man that he is today, although I give him full responsibility for that as well. But that's when my healing and more adventurous side came out when he was about 2.5, 3 years old.
And how did it come out per se?
Well, I just was looking at all kinds of different healing modalities that I could learn to help him. I was taking him to different kinds of healers, different kinds of naturopaths, different kinds of people that were not Western medicine doctors or could do hands-on healings that might help to calm his nervous system or to, help him because he was like, it was like he was sort of bouncing off the walls and stuff like that. And it was just difficult for him. It was difficult for him to connect with other kids because of how hyper he was. And so I don't even remember. That's a long time ago, all the things I did, but I did explore a lot.
And when did you start to realize that you had the ability to do these things yourself?
Well, I think a lot of us have these abilities. Um, I don't know. For a while, I was just really enjoying going to healers to work on me because Um, when he was 3, I was already an attorney. I decided I was going to be an attorney when I was 15. So I was already an attorney. I already had my own little small firm in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. So I was pretty normal, but I was also pretty impacted energetically by the kind of work that I was doing. I was helping people get divorces. I was helping in child custody cases. I was helping when there was dysfunctional families representing the children. And I didn't have at that time kind of the energetic tools I have to cleanse and clear and protect myself. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So as an empath, I was pretty much on the floor. And I know that you don't think maybe there's many empathic attorneys, but that was me. And so I just tried all kinds of different kind of healers, and then I started taking classes in different kinds of healing modalities. And it really wasn't until about when I became a licensed, a professional certified coach with the International Coach Federation and got a diploma in transformational holistic counseling and became certified in meditation that I actually started working with people and giving back a lot more when after I sold my law firm. So that was a mouthful. I don't know if you wanted all that, but that's kind of it wasn't like I just jumped in because I had other things that I felt I came in here to do as well. And that was, working with people in crisis.
Which I could respect, and I honestly, God, I wish you lived in Massachusetts. I can explain later, but God, I wish you lived in Massachusetts for that reason alone. But uh, yeah, I mean, I've in the last year and a half, I've dealt with a few different family court lawyers, and there are definitely empaths out there. I'm not going to say all lawyers are cold-hearted, evil people because they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
There's I none that defended me ever seemed that way at least.
No, it's a
Ones that
really difficult situation, a system to be in. I didn't find it that way at all. So I agree with you. So there are some wonderful lawyers, but the system and how you have to function within the system doesn't really bring people together. It can cause a lot of separation.
oh yeah, I mean it's a brutal emotional battle of battles because it's you're not fighting over just property or something or a crime that someone committed. You're fighting. I mean, you could technically, but you're you're fighting over people's lives, and it's tough. That's just a tough thing, and it's emotional and rough on you. I mean, even just being not even being involved in it, just sitting there watching it happen to someone you love is tears you down like nothing else. So
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when a narcissist tends to get his way, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, but wasn't another interesting. I did have a really interesting coincidence. One of my first teachers that I had was I was still practicing a little bit of family law, but I was also moving into commercial law and helping businesses collect their debts because I was just on the floor because I didn't have tools and skills to be able to protect myself from all the negativity, in that field. And I was just alone in my office one night, and a woman called me, and she wanted to get a divorce. She didn't have any money, but she was an astrologer, but a really empathic astrologer, not someone that just told people what to do, but gave them guidelines so that they could really step more fully present into their lives. And she became my client. She didn't have any money, and I didn't charge her, but I got a lot of readings for myself and my son. and she became my first teacher and a very, very dear friend. And I was never ever in the office at 7 o'clock at night. And so it's like the universe was working with me. And that was when I was in my early 30s, around 33.
Yeah, around my age actually. But so yeah, it's a tough time of life. I'll tell you that much. But it's still trying to find your way in the world and all that at this age, and it's just not easy for anybody. But
No,
as I'm sure you remember, but it's a whole tough thing.
yeah.
So, what made you interested in astrology of all things? Like,
Well, I really wasn't that much before, I met her. And
oh yeah,
I just thought, so I met my friend. I met the woman who needed help getting a divorce, and her husband was abusive and wasn't there anymore and was narcissistic, all the things you're talking about. And she had teenage boys, and she needed to get a divorce and didn't have any money. So I allowed her to pay me in different kind of astrology sessions for myself and my son. And I provided it was just a dissolution of marriage because he wasn't around. I provided those services for free. I got her disentangled from that marriage so that she could enter into a marriage with someone who was a like-minded soul.
good. Um, see, I mean, that's just to me that's fate. To me, that's just fate and kind of destiny because we are supposed to meet people throughout life. Maybe not the first life we met these people in, even, but we're supposed to meet people throughout life that change our lives. And it may not always be in the way we think. It may not, and the fact that you were able to barter or something like that in order to help her and she helped you and your son in the long run, that to me, that's what humanity needs more of. Humanity
Yeah.
needs a lot less of everything else that's going on in the world these days. So I
Yeah, I
agree.
just I just knew that I was there to help her. And I thought, well, this will be really cool, it'll be helpful for me. And like I said, she taught classes and it was my first kind of step into that world. I knew that I was, like I said, I knew I didn't belong, but it was really cool to have someone that, um, yeah, he just sort of went to the beat of her own drum and was really empathic and really heartfelt and really wanted to help humanity. And I don't know, soul sister or something. It was really fortuitous.
It seems like it. So I guess I guess actually where I want to take us kind of is you mentioned earlier before we went live that you work with crystals as well, which I don't understand how crystals work, so it always fascinated me because it's as many people as I talk to on the show about it, it's just kind of those things where I'm like, I I'm a scientific person. I do not understand the science behind it fully. Like I get the basis, but it's like I'm like, how does this possible? I don't. It pisses me off. I don't get it. It really does. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah. Well, I have one in my hand. This is one of my little favorite ones. But
Ooh,
so I was trained in crystal healing, and I've loved crystals forever. So there are several kingdoms on planet Earth. There's the mineral kingdom. There's a data kingdom that's the angelic and the nature energies, and the next one's the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the kingdom of humanity, the kingdom of souls. So we're the elder brothers and sisters of the crystal kingdom, and that's part of the mineral kingdom, which is the first kingdom. And in this age of Aquarius, they're really here to help us. And so, I mean, I got trained to be a crystal healer. I don't do a lot of that anymore, but I do work with crystals all the time. They're like our younger brothers and sisters. If we love them and we keep them clear, they will work with us. They'll help to raise our vibration. They can help us to let go of what doesn't work. There's different crystals for different kind of things. I'm not an expert in that. I mostly usually feel into crystals, and what I feel is going to work with me well is what I work with. You don't have to really know the science. All you have to do is sort of love them and work with them, and they'll start to work with you. And it's not something that you have to understand necessarily. You, I mean, they're an ancient part of the earth. It took them millions of years to form, and there's all kinds. Like, let me see. Like this is a very, very grounding one. It helps you to. I have some friends who get a hold of the most amazing crystals in the world, and this one helps to really ground you into the planet. So one way to stay out of anxiety and stress is to be fully present and grounded in your body. And lots of times, if we're going through a lot of stress, we're like floating above. It doesn't feel safe in our body because all these horrible feelings come up. But if we use some of these crystals to help ground, so it's like there's grounding cords going out of our body into the heart of the planet, and it helps us to be more present in our body. We can feel safer and we can maybe more effectively serve. So like you said, there's all kinds of crystals. The only thing you need to be aware of crystals is to use your intuition. If you pick up a crystal and it doesn't feel right for you, something feels off. It's like picking a friend. That wouldn't be a friend you'd have an affinity with. So you just need to have an affinity with the crystals that you choose to work with, and they're choosing to work with you.
And I mean, well, just like friends, some people have trouble distinguishing between good and bad ones. So it's
Right.
it's I mean, it's sad to say, but it's true. And I mean, see, I don't. It's a passive thing. The crystals is a very passive kind of power. I get that.
Really?
I get you.
It's
I mean, I
passive?
get. I mean, I would say it's passive because you're not actively having to constantly put energy into it or focus on it like some people believe you would. But
Well, I guess what happens is that when you love the crystal, when you actually hold it and love it, it sort of begins to wake up. And because the crystals are the master souls of the mineral kingdom. They might have started embodying as dirt, gone into rocks, then other kind of things, iron ore, and eventually the master souls of the mineral kingdom before they move up to the angelic kingdom with the devas and the angels, are these kind of crystals. And so they've been evolving for millions of years. And when you kind of squeeze them and you love them and you're grateful for them and start working with them, they start to wake up and working with you. It's not the same kind of wake up that we have. It's very like internally focused, just on the inside of themselves. It's not the same kind of consciousness that we have at all, but they do have the ability to magnify things and help us to heal ourselves and others. You just have to. I mean, you just have to. It's good to be trained, but I don't
of
know if that
course,
helps at all to sort of take away the clouds about what crystals are about. But I don't know. Maybe
uh,
buy a crystal friend and see how it goes.
I might. I mean, I might have to. Or actually, I'd be surprised if I don't have one or two already. I've been gifted a lot of things by former guests, so I'd be surprised if I don't have one or two already somewhere that I forgot about.
You
Honestly,
might. You might.
it wouldn't surprise me. I a lot of random gifts, but I mean I have to believe like anything in the spiritual field that if you're gifted in it usually has a little more power to it because it's not
Well,
the,
it's nice to have someone that's a few steps ahead of you show you how to work with them. I'm really,
yeah,
really grateful for that because I had those kind of teachers and I sort of felt like out of my depth with them, like you do now. And, just to have them, give me the foundation, I'm really, really grateful for that.
well, it's always a good thing to have a teacher in anything you do. I mean, anything in life you should have some kind of teacher if you want to do it good at least.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just playing around, that's one thing, but if you actually want to do it right and do it well, then teachers are definitely a good thing to have.
Yeah.
And I believe you also mentioned, and I believe you showed me that really fast that you are a tarot card reader, which has always been
Well,
a popular thing on this
not
show.
exactly tarot cards. I use psychic tarot oracle cards. I'm not psychic. I do heart connect with people. I was trained to use these cards, um, and I use them in a way to help mentor people. So, in other words, the cards, I don't do it the way everyone else does, but they're infused with a lot of love. And I find that a lot of people, in order to get messages, especially as adults, it's really nice to have that visual with the cards. And so the visual with the cards, plus they pick some cards, I pick some cards, and I can tell them like opportunities that are open to them, challenges and obstacles that might be in their path and how to move around them, maybe some skills and tools or whatever they need to keep on stepping forward in their life. Those kind of things. So it's more, I work more with like a soul to soul connection versus like, I really don't, the kind of, if you're doing a soul reading, the soul doesn't really care if I get a man or if I win the lotto. It's more about, am I going to continue to evolve and grow and be of more service to humanity? And so I help people to, I guess, live more peaceful and fruitful lives because they, maybe help them let go of patterns and programs and stuff they've been dragging around that just doesn't work for them.
See, I feel like that's almost better than regular tarot because I feel like you're not going to get all the jokesters who just want to know how to win the lotto, like you said, or how to find true love. Like you're not going to get all the common folk who you're going to get people who are actually are looking for ways to better themselves in their lives, not just people who are looking for that quick fix. Which
Yeah. And you
I
know what? Things are always changing. So anyone that says they can read the future, it really can't work because everything is changing. So it could be like in this direction that yes, you're gonna move or have a relationship now, but this person does something different and something happens in the world different and something different happens in your life and that possible future, because there's always a myriad of possible futures that are open to us, is gone. So if the people that say this and this and this is going to happen, it can't be true. There's always opportunities of the highest, clearest way forward, and we can always aim for that. But it can always change as well. But when we put our energy and love and positive vibes into it, it's more likely to happen. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
oh
yeah,
you
I
are
was
100%.
yeah, I'm always kind
I
of laughing.
mean,
People say they can tell the future.
no, I mean I actually had a psychic reading last week on this show live.
Hmm.
First time I did that. First time I ever did that in 200 something episodes, but I figured it was time. And she kept saying like I can't tell you the future. She's like I go and tell you where your energy looks like it's heading. She's like I 100% cannot tell you the future. Don't think I can. She kept saying that, and I'm like, good. That's what I want from an actual psychic reading. I don't want someone who's going to be a charlatan, pretend that oh yeah I can see everything that's going to happen in your life. No, there's nobody has that ability. Nobody has that ability.
Right. Well,
You
that's
could read
cool
you.
that you had someone come on the show like that because everyone is not like that.
I yeah, I mean, I well, we had a regular interview first a month or so ago, and she offered, and we kind of had like a bond spiritually in a way, like on the show to begin with. Was so, and so I was like, all right, I'm like, I I actually feel comfortable with you doing this. I don't think I could let any psychic I ever have my show do it because I don't know if I would be comfortable enough. But I'm
Right.
like, I feel like you're not going to do anything to embarrass me in my show, so let's do it.
No. Well, if you want to, I can do a little short reading with you, but I never make people uncomfortable, but
No,
I can't
I'm not.
guarantee how you would feel. That's all right. We don't have
Trust
to
me,
do it if you want to.
I ain't too worried about it. Trust me. But yeah, we could definitely. I mean, I'm always down for that.
Really?
I've had regular tarot card readings done, so let's go with the more
Is it do
advanced
psychic
version.
tarot oracle cards? So with the cards and with the soul reading, you can ask any question you want. What I usually always find, is that they don't like tell you this is what's going to happen, but what the cards say for you, lots of times you'll get a feeling of what it means for you to move forward.
All right.
Does that make
Um,
sense? So you can either say, just do a general reading for me, Arlene, or you can pose a question or something that you'd like to
um,
focus on.
does it need to be specific question or can it be a general question?
It can be whatever you want as long as it's just for you. Well, it's going to relate probably to you having a child, but anything that any of the reading that comes out will be for you.
Well, all right. Well, let's do it this way because yeah, it's gonna be about me having the child regardless, but this way kind of pushes it in that direction as well. Mm, what do I need to do to improve my work life?
Okay. So what I'll do is I'm just going to start shuffling the cards. I'll pick three cards for you, and then I'll pick you'll pick three cards for you. I'll pick three cards for you, and I'll do a reading, and I'll hold up the cards as I'm doing the reading so you can see which card I'm talking about. So I'm going to keep
Sounds
on
good.
shuffling. You just tell me stop, and I'll pick the one on top.
All right. Mm, stop.
Okay. We'll do it again. We're going to do it two more times. Is this exciting? It's teasing. Yeah. You'll be
No,
fine. You'll be fine.
oh, trust me. I'm waiting for the energy to tell me to stop. But, but yeah, stop.
Okay. And one more time.
And stop.
Okay, I'm going to pick 3 cards out of the deck. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you which one are yours or mine because what happens is that when the cards that you pick are on the personality level, and the cards that I pick for you are on the soul and the spiritual level. But it doesn't really matter. They all sort of mix the same. And I'll do it the way I always do it, even though usually I have like a lot more cards than this. But there are 2 cards here that are the foundational cards, like that the whole reading revolves around. And I'll talk about them first, and then there's 4 other cards after that. So the first card is, can you see this? Can your audience see this?
Yes.
Okay, it's called accelerated motion. So this is about when you're living in your heart, and there's like this lady master that's there to work with you. And, it's like your life is about to move forward on a pretty fast basis. And it's like working with the energies as you're moving forward. She's steering at true north. So when you're aligned to true north, you're moving in alignment with plan and purpose. And so basically, she is there to work with us, to work with you as you embark on your new adventure, and just to make sure that you stay in your heart. If you have any questions about, where to from here, you feel like you're getting a little bit off balance, you can always close your eyes and tune into a Lady Master energy like this. Is just about unconditional love, surrender, allowing, being the best we can be, and just loving and supporting us to move forward as best we can, in alignment with divine plan and to purpose, and in alignment with love. And the second card that's your anchor card is spiritual strength. So this is just acknowledging that, whatever you're doing in your life, you're making a difference. You're doing things that are in alignment with your plan and purpose. I'm imagining that with your show and getting out there and the people that come on and the questions that you ask and what you do is does touch people's lives and is a help. And so there you have a lot of support on the inner. And it's just to acknowledge that you do have that support, and that support is always there for you. Spirit talks in a whisper. Spirit talks with feelings. So it's like, the ego talks with a big bullhorn. It's a very loud voice, but it's not a powerful voice. Or really usually a loving voice. But spirit talks in a whisper, and lots of times the messages we get, they can be like a feeling. Sometimes we open a book and we see a passage, and it relates to us, or someone says something to us and it just sparks something within us. So we're just open to those messages as they come. Do you have any questions before I move on to the other cards?
No, it's actually interesting because you were right. The first card, 100%, was about the baby, and the second card, it always comes back to that about the podcast. It always comes back to that same message, and it's interesting. It just
Oh,
keeps proving itself to me over and over again with that.
okay. Well, I'll go through there's 2 cards here where well, the first card is the mental conflict card. And so basically what the message is, and I've gotten this card a bunch of times too, because even though I'm a retired attorney, I can be very mental. And so it's just saying that, what you want to avoid, because there's a lot of change going to be happening in your life. When you have a kid, there's change, right? And sometimes when there's a lot of change and things are going on, we just start thinking about things, and our mind and our head goes around and around and around, and it's like running on a hamster wheel really, really fast. And sometimes that can create anxiety and stress. It says, don't do that. That doesn't work. So the only thing that gets in your way is if you start thinking too much. We can use those thought processes to make our grocery list, to have a list of how to take care of the baby, or to work with your partner to go through childbirth, or whatever it is that you're doing to fix up the baby's room, or to go to the grocery store. But a lot of the mental stuff that we do, and it's just not necessary. So it's about just remembering to come back to the heart. How does this feel? Um, what's the inspiration I'm getting, to go from here? And, if you see yourself kind of getting wound up or anxious and getting your head, it's just like, thank you very much. I know I told you, personality ego, that I wanted to be this way. And maybe I've done it for lifetimes, but I'm choosing not to do that anymore. I'm going to do something to calm down, to ground fully in the planet, be fully present here now, and be a heart case and not a head case. And sometimes when we've had that kind of pattern and program running for lifetimes, it takes a little while to untangle that so that we don't create stress for ourselves. So there's there's three more. So I'll do this one first. So you got the foundations and achievement card. And this is the foundations is just to acknowledge what you've already created for yourself in your life. You've created like the shop front, the foundation for the new, and you have that support. The rainbow support is the support of of what's to come. And so I think what often we don't do is we don't take time to really acknowledge what we have in our life, acknowledge and celebrate what we have created. And so it's just like pressing a pause button. And yes, I've created the shop front, and I have this loving support of the rainbow in this card, which is about love. And I'm going to take a moment to really acknowledge the foundations that I've laid for myself and the people I love in my life, and to celebrate, what I've achieved on all levels so far, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And just be open to the knowing of where to from here, because as stated before, I am loved and supported, and that's also reflected in this card. It's also, and maybe this reflects back to what you were sharing with your divorce and going through the legal profession. So, you've had some emotional loss in your life. We all have. It's acknowledging on the one hand that you've moved through a lot of it. It's not all gone, but it's also saying that there's no urgency or rush to move through the rest of it. But whenever you decide to really let go of anything that you're still holding on to from any moments in your life that were difficult or challenging or a little bit scarring, or you just feel like you need to let something go, that you're completely supported by the universe just to turn around, work with her light and love, and she will help you, to let the rest of, whatever is there, help to let that go.
And just to
And
clarify for my listeners, I am maybe I misspoke earlier. I'm not going through a divorce.
oh, I know you're not. I know you're not.
Oh, okay,
I know
okay,
you're not.
okay. I thought you said that. I was like, wait a minute. No, no, no.
No,
It's
you
not
were
the patent
talking.
universe.
You were talking about. Maybe that came out wrong. When I'm doing this stuff, I'm not thinking. It's just going.
Ah,
So
okay.
all this. Anyway, I got that. I know that you're not currently going through anything.
Okay. So
Okay.
just making sure.
Yeah, I am. I got that. 100 listeners. No divorce going on over there. Okay. The last card I got is really cool. It's the movement, choices, and decision card. And basically, it's just saying that through a lot of the energies of the universe, there's going to be movement, choices, and decisions in your life coming up, but there's a lot of love and support for whatever you decide to do. For example, the red energy is a very grounding, nurturing energy, helping to make things happen on the ground. The golden energy is the 12th ray of source. It's a very expansive, loving, nurturing energy for anything that you create. The blue energy is the second ray, the love, wisdom energy of source, bringing the love and wisdom of whatever choices and decisions you make. And um, for now, I mean, it's always changing, but what the green energy on this card just feels like to me is about supporting yourself. I don't know what part of the planet you live on, but supporting yourself, maybe getting out in nature, connecting with nature, using that as a way to let go of stress. If you're not sure where to with movement choices and decisions moving forward, just to know that there is the energy of Mother Nature there, which is a very loving and nurturing energy. It's not a body, it's like an energetic field that surrounds and works with our whole planet, and will be there to work with you with any choices or decisions or movement forward that's going to be happening in your life. So that's your reading.
Uh, some insightful things in there, definitely. A lot of it I have heard before, or I already kind of had a inkling to, but definitely some insightful information in between. So that's always the best part, is the part that you don't know, or the part you haven't thought
Yeah.
about yet.
Yeah.
So wow, that is interesting, and I always get a tingly feeling after these things. I don't know why. It's the energy flowing through me. I know, but it's just like it just oof, it's creepy in a way.
Well,
But
sometimes you get a confirmation of things you already know. Sometimes you get stuff and you're not really sure about it, and then stuff happens later, and it's a confirmation. And I don't really know. I have no idea when I'm doing this what it means to you.
well, of course not. I mean, and I'm sure it means something different to every person you do it with. I'm sure everybody has different
Right.
reactions to it. I'm positive of that. But so let's focus on let's focus on the non-spiritual side for a second, because you are a
Okay.
work-life balance coach, and that is something very important. And a lot of people have issues with that in this day and age. So how do you teach people to manage their work-life balance?
Well, just to clarify, as a coach, so I can do work-life balance and harmony work with people either from the coaching perspective or from the mentoring perspective. If I'm mentoring somebody, I'm sharing my wisdom over the years with them, and I'm telling them more things to do, and guiding them and allowing them to do things for themselves, and then they're coming back to me and sharing how it went for them. And I do things like teaching them how to energetically protect themselves. So I'm sharing my wisdom with them so they can stand on my shoulders. As a coach, I'm doing something different. It's the same thing, but there's two sides of the same jewel, but we're handling in different ways. Because as a coach, I know that my clients have all the answers inside of them. So I know a lot about work-life balance, and I'll be asking them powerful questions, maybe sharing some insights or intuition that I'm sensing about them as we have our coaching conversation. But I'm always handing the conversation back to them to see what they want to do with it, to see if it resonates with them, and to see how they want to possibly move forward with what I've shared in their life. So there are two different ways, but there are some basic things that I do help people with, in order to heal themselves, because I work with work-life balance from the inside out, which what I mean is that I don't start with what all the things you need to do to organize your life so that you have more time and that you have more room to do things. Because if you're still messed up on the inside, if you're still stressed out, if you're still anxious and overwhelmed on the inside, then any like life hack or work hack or mom hack to organize yourself or save time for yourself might help, but it's not going to resolve the underlying situation. So what I help my clients do is to resolve the underlying situation. And there's all kinds of ways I can do that. I don't know how I should stop, and maybe if you want to ask another question, or I can just keep on going. What's your
Oh
preference?
I mean, actually, here's here. Oh, I'll use my own life to kind of ask a question, I guess.
Okay.
So my work-life balance has been crazy lately because of the amount of OB appointments my wife has had over the last 6 months, and trying to balance being at work 40 hours a week, which hasn't happened in months, to having to deal with life things and having to deal with all your managers and bosses while you're dealing with that. So it's been helter skelter lately, basically, for my work life balance. So if someone's in a situation like mine where there's things going on in their life that they need to give attention to and that are requirements, not just optional things, how would you tell them to manage that with their work life?
Well, I don't really tell people anything. I give them suggestions
Well,
because I really
how would
feel
you
like,
advise them to handle it?
so I'm really not clear. What I'm hearing you say is that normally you're at work a lot more, but because of your wife and her pregnancy and the demands of pregnancy or whatever's happening with that, and the baby coming soon, that you spend a lot more time away from work, and you're obviously self-employed. Um,
No, I'm not. I'm not
oh, you have
self-employed.
you have another job as well.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. If this is my full-time job, I'd be the happiest man on earth. But that's not possible
Oh,
at this point.
okay. So are you still
So,
are you still working full time while
oh
you're
yeah, yep. I still work a full-time day job as well. So
right. So you have a full-time J job, a wife that's ready to give birth very soon, and she's going through all these kind of changes, and you need to change, things that are going on in your house to make preparations to have this child. Is that basically what you're talking about? Because you just feel torn in different directions?
well, it's being torn in different directions as well as just trying to manage the requirements and the expectations set by your managers while dealing. I mean, it's dealing with your personal life while trying to maintain your work life the best you can.
Right. So you have managers and people still wanting you to be exactly the same person you were, make all the same goals and requirements that you always had, while you feel pulled in this other direction.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's the best way to explain it, I would say.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel. I just need to know basically
Yeah, of
what's going
course.
on for you in order to, you know, um, So when we're pulled in a bunch of different directions, it's really important. Do you have things in place for you that you use to like let you release, relax, and let go? Because what a lot of people have when they get all wound up at work and you still have other more responsibilities now coming outside of work, and you feel pulled by that too, we need to have things in place that allow us to feel grounded and fully present in our bodies and I mean, one of the things I always work with people is breath work, because oftentimes when we're really stressed or anxious, we start breathing very shallow up here and even sort of like hold our breath in moments. So we're not oxygenating our bodies. And when we breathe that shallow way, what we're doing is we're telling our body that something is really wrong, something's really scary, and I need to go in fight or flight response, which causes all that cortisol to be emptied in our body and to be really nervous and hyper, like we're going to have to run from a bear or something like that. And so we need to have strategies in place to bring ourselves back into rest and relaxed mode. And one really good way to do that is just simple breath work. And the cool thing about breath work is that we have to breathe everywhere anyway. And there's certain breathing techniques that we can use that no one is even going to know that you're working with a breath work technique to make you feel more relaxed. Because when we feel more relaxed, no matter what's going on in our life, we're more able to handle whatever's challenging us. Because if we're all wound up and stressed and anxious, it's like our mind doesn't work right. It's hard to make decisions. It's hard to even think because all we're doing is feeling all that stress and thing that's tightening up in our body. And so one really simple way to relax is just to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose with the out breath longer than the in breath. And if we sit there and, someone's talking to us or we have to do a task or we're driving our car, and if we just practice that breathing in through the nose and out through the nose with that out breath longer than the in breath, basically it helps to physiologically put us into rest and relax mode. It helps to oxygenate our bodies. It helps us to let go of, all that stress that we've been carrying around in our head or our shoulders or our guts or whatever feelings that we haven't wanted to deal with that maybe we've sort of pushed out in our auric field or we're shoving into our body. And it helps us to begin to just get into a calmer space. Does that make any sense?
It does. It 100% makes sense. And well, my relaxation space is this. This is my relaxation space. Podcasting kind of balances me out. It kind of eases the stress, eases all the tiredness. It kind of just brings me back to life and reignites my everything to get going again. So that's why podcasting is very therapeutic to me in a way. But and hence why I do it so often, folks. I mean, and well, I did for the backlog for the hiatus as well, but I also do it. I did play it before that just because it relaxes me. It's a great way to end your night. I sleep so much better on nights I podcast than nights I don't podcast because I am just
Right.
so everything's looser, everything's good to go, everything's just my mind's at ease. To put that easy, that's way I put it. But well, let me ask this.
Well, can I ask you just something? Just throw something
Oh,
in
of
the
course.
mix that to help you is that That's fantastic. That I really admire you that you found something that brings you that rest and relaxation, and you're giving back to others, but you're also giving to yourself. But what I also heard you say was that this is the last podcast for a couple of months. So how are you going to take care of yourself to bring you into that sort of rest and relax mode that you get with podcasting while you're away from here?
Uh, I have been actually thinking about that. And I mean, I still got plenty of podcasts to edit, so I guess in a way that's
Oh,
kind of
that's
that's still
good.
kind of going to be bringing it back. But there's other things in the works as well, which I really can't say live on this show because I don't want to spoil things. But
Right, right,
there's other things in the works as well I've been thinking about too as a way for me to maybe do a little podcasting while on the hiatus. I mean, my other show is still going to be ongoing recording. It's just not as hectic as this one, so I don't need to take up that much of a break from it. A couple
right.
weeks, yeah, but not
Well,
months.
good, good.
But so I mean, there's other things going on too, though. So we'll see, folks. You'll find out soon enough, I promise.
Well, I didn't want to push you or anything. I just was concerned because of that 2 month gap there and what was bringing you that peace. So I just was asking. But I'm glad you
Of
have
course.
something else in there that's going to help.
Well, you always got to stay creative when you know something helps. You always got to find ways to keep it around, even if you can't really keep it around. But
Right.
of course, I mean, it's life. So, what do you recommend what do you recommend for someone who's frustrated or overwhelmed at work? Like their bosses are yelling at them constantly, their bosses are throwing way too much task on them and they can't keep up with it all. What do you recommend for someone in that kind of scenario?
So that's a difficult place to be. You know, if you're in a situation, in a work situation that doesn't support you and you're not being treated with dignity and respect, and there's no way around that, and you're choosing to stay in that job for economic reasons for now, you've got to find a way to make that work for you. And there's like no magic wand for that kind of situation. It might be helpful to have other people within the workforce that you are kind of masterminding with that are understand the situation. You can help each other. You might just want to find out exactly what the boss needs that you're not giving them, and find out what the boss's priorities, and make sure that whatever their priorities are, you get that one thing at least done first, so that that is out of the way. Because oftentimes what happens if we have a lot of things to do at work, our tendency can be to do all the things that only take a few minutes, and the thing that we really need to get done, we sort of shove under the bottom of the pile. And so, if we know what actually has to be done first, and we make sure that that's the first thing we do at the beginning of the day, there's a guy named by the name of Brian Tracy who wrote this really cool book called Eat That Frog. And it's a really simple, small book. But one of the things he shares is that whatever's going to cause you the most stress at work, you eat that biggest ugly frog. You do that the first thing of the day. You get that project over, you send that letter, you do that phone call, whatever it is that you're doing, you get that one thing out of the way first so it'll stop weighing on your shoulders. And then the rest of everything, it becomes more of a piece of cake. And if you're dealing with someone that's unreasonable and difficult to be around, that doesn't make it any, you can't, because the only person that you can change is yourself. But if you have a clear understanding of exactly what they want you to do in what order, you can set that priority and make sure that that is done. And maybe that will take off the stress. But in the long run, if you're working in a toxic environment, it's not good for you on many levels. And there might come a time when you want to look around and see where else you can bring your gifts and talents.
Which I have a follow-up question actually, but first things first. If any of my coworkers or managers see this, I'm not talking about my life in this one. Just saying, don't want anybody get wrong impressions on that. Not talking about my life with that question. Just asking for everybody else in the world. But
Okay.
I do not have a toxic workplace. I have a very positive workplace. So,
Well, I'm really glad to hear that.
yeah, just don't want anybody to think I'm talking bad about my company
Right.
when I'm not,
No, no.
because you would know if I did. But
Jeremy loves
uh,
his job.
sorry, there was a laugh there. But as a follow up to that, Because in the one section, one part you did say that they should talk to their manager or boss, whatever, higher up, and find out what's priority. What if they have a higher up slash boss slash manager that they find is unapproachable, and if you ask them a question like that, they feel like they're going to get berated and that it's not worth asking the question even.
Yeah, I mean that really comes back, Jeremy, to the toxic work environment. It's like being in a toxic relationship. Um, and I know that people get really nervous and stressed by changing jobs, but
Yeah.
if we're in a toxic work environment, and no matter what we do, we're going to get berated or put down by the people that we're working for, that's gonna seriously impact our health on a lot of different levels. And if it is possible, you're asking me how I guess you do your best to get the job done and find ways to energetically, send that energy of the boss back to them. I just go, this is not my stuff, it's yours. I'm sending it back. If they dump that negativity and toxicity in their energy field, you can do that and do your job to the best of your ability and stay under the radar and away from them, but it's still going to have a toxic effect on your system. In some places, the only person you can change is yourself. So if people are facing that, there's a lot of need in different places in the workforce because it's hard to find people that are really, love working in whatever area they want to work with and want to come in and do a good job and get paid a reasonable amount of money for it, but will be dependable and do good work. And so if you're one of those kind of people and you're in a toxic environment and it's really eating away at your soul and it's affecting your life and your health, it's you know it's not good, and you are totally worth it to look around and ask around and find ask for the help that you need and take the steps you need to take to find someplace else, because why it's not healthy. And you we don't want to just live our lives so that we can get retired and all of a sudden enjoy it, but by then we've put disease into our bodies because we stressed ourselves out and we haven't dealt with it. So I guess that would be my answer there.
Well, that's a really good answer. Actually, that's exactly what I was kind of looking for with that question. I mean, I had a feeling where you're gonna go with it, but you actually took it to a place I didn't even see coming, and I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Well, good.
But
I'm glad you enjoyed something here.
oh, I've enjoyed all this, please. But the
Thanks
final,
for your life.
I kind of I get maybe the final question. I don't know. We'll see where it leads. But speaking of stress, I mean, this is something that happens to all of us at one point or another in life, whether it has happened to you already, folks, or not yet. It's I don't know all your lives, but let's talk burnout because I mean we've all gotten burnt out in our lives. I got burnt out of college. I've gotten burnt out of certain jobs because it just wasn't the right. It was just a toxic environment, basically the best way to put it overall, and or just not where I wanted to be at that moment. And I know how I dealt with it, which I ain't gonna say it's healthy in every single way, but well, half and half. But what are some healthy ways people can deal with burnout instead, and ways they can avoid all the unhealthy things people do when they get burnt out?
Well, I guess first of all, I'd advise your listeners, if you're not totally burnout, to ask the universe to help you to be aware of when you're beginning to feel stressed and anxious. I would take one step back. So before burnout, when you're still getting all this stressed and anxious, it's really important to notice when you're getting stressed and anxious and say, okay, I'm listening to my human. My human needs a break now, and find ways to take a 5, 10, or 15-minute break, something to that refreshes or relaxes you. It might be talking to a friend, it might be walking around the block, it might be going and breathing some fresh air outside, it might be listening to some music. Whatever it is, it's good to get away from computers and technologies and just give yourself a breather and then come back. Because often what happens, what I did when I was younger, is that I knew I was getting stressed and overwhelmed, but I chose to ignore it. I chose to push through it and keep going and going and going until I was having all sorts of symptoms in my bodies and getting headaches and all sorts of digestive issues because I wasn't dealing with it. I was creating more toxicity in my life because I wasn't listening to my body. I wasn't listening to myself. Because some of the toxicity can be that we're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some of the toxicity can be that we allow ourselves to get overwhelmed and think too much, and we don't give ourselves breaks. And we don't take a day off from the week where we don't work. We don't have planned holidays or vacations where I'm in Colorado, we go up to the mountains or something. We all need to have things to look forward to, and we all need to be able to take that time out in the life. If you've gotten to a place where you're really just flat on the floor, and I've been there before, um, sometimes it's just like having some friends to talk to, you know? At the time where I was like just totally flat on the floor and I didn't know if I could get up again, I was a member of a gym and I'd be on an exercise bike and one of my friends would be next to me and we'd talk. You know, we weren't like super duper athletes. We would sort of talk as we go along, and it was just nice to have that support of people that cared about me and would even just listen. You know, sometimes it just helps to have a friend that listens to you, as because oftentimes the knowing of where to from here, kind of know it. You know, maybe we need to take that vacation now. Maybe we need a few days time out. Whatever it is, like you were talking about, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time for a job or something like that, or maybe someone else is. We can start looking for something else. But in the meantime, we have to find ways to um, give ourselves a break, because if we're getting all wound up, the human bit of us is saying, you're not listening to me. You're not feeding me the right food. You're not letting me sleep enough. You're not letting me go outside for a walk. You're making me sit at this desk all the time. We're not listening to the human, and we need to take care of him or her. And so I guess that would be my initial words of wisdom if it helps anybody.
Which I'm sure it will. I mean, hell, I've been there. I've literally worked two jobs at once, two full-time jobs at once, and was falling asleep driving. So, I mean, I've been to the point where I had my body start telling me, "You're not letting us sleep enough. You're not letting us do what we want to do. You're controlling everything and just making life miserable for us. We need to break this cycle and do." And I mean, it got to the point where I would call out my night job, or I would go into my day job late and just sleep for a few hours because I need it. And I mean, luckily, my day job bosses like understood like my conflict, and they're like, "Yeah, if you need to sleep, just make it up on the weekend or something during the day. Just go sleep for a couple hours if you need to." So I mean, luckily, I had understanding people in my life at that point, but because otherwise, it could have led to a really dangerous bad burnout if I didn't stop. Because I could have.
Yeah,
I'm one of those times I fell asleep while driving. If the freaking car vibrating when I hit those bumps on the side of the roads, if they didn't wake me up, it could have ended horribly. So, I
yeah.
mean, I've been there. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
And folks, burnout's a real thing. So, but in case any of my listeners aren't interested in trying to deal with any of their own situations like this, where can people find you? Where can people find your services?
Well, I'll give you not many people give out their phone numbers anymore, but I'm not scared. Do text me, because picking up the phone is at first is it's hard. Anyway, because of the way my life is. So my phone is 720-936-2634. If you leave me a text, I'll get back to you fairly shortly, unless I'm traveling, which I sometimes do, and then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. You can also go to my website, which is Jewel Consultancy, Jewel Consultancy.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as my name is typed here, Arlene Cohen Miller. I'm on Instagram. I'm on a little bit on TikTok, not a whole lot. I'm on Facebook. If you're interested in those other places. And on my website, I have lots of free videos about making yourself calm and relaxed, and about leadership. And I have a blog with like a lot of different topics about that could help you. They're all free, so you're welcome to check that out as well.
Well, there you go, folks. If you are looking for the help, the assistance, then please go reach out to her in one of those many ways. And I want to thank Arlene for coming on, because this has been an amazing episode to end off the show for my hiatus. And it actually went exactly as I thought it would, and I'm very happy about that. So, yay. And for the last time, I'm going to say this for a long time, you all know where to find me. If you don't, God damn, if you don't know by now, God, you're hopeless. You're hopeless. But check the outro. It's all there for the listeners, and for all the watchers, it's on the bottom of the screen. Just learn to read. And I will see you all in a couple months at the earliest. But be sure to check out all the Spotify and other feeds because episodes will still be releasing as normal, in case you missed any of the lives over the last 6 months. But until then, have a good one, everybody. I'll see you when I see you.
Listen, here's the truth. If it's not something you love to do, automation is mandatory. You didn't start your podcast to spend hours editing clips. You started it to create, connect, and grow your audience. But here's the problem. Every other platform works with video podcasts, and manual editing eats up your most valuable asset, your time. That's where Opus Clip changes everything. Upload your video, and Opus Clip will automatically find the gold nugget moments, auto-clip the captions for the best parts, perfect for TikTok, Reels, and Shorts. 1 hour-long episode becomes 10, 20, even 30 viral-ready clips in minutes. The tool even predicts each clip's viral potential, so you know exactly what to post. No more tenuous editing, no more wasted hours, just you staying in the place that you love to be, creating content that matters. Head to podnationopus.com for your free trial and get back to doing what you do best. Stop editing and start creating now.
You can find me on Facebook as Jeremy Bryant, or you can find me as Uncensored, Unapologetic, and Untamed UQ Podcast Collective Facebook group. You can find me on Twitter and the Instagram as @JugglerBastard, or should I say X now. And you can find me on TikTok as @JugglerBastard Podcast. You can also find me on YouTube as Paranormal The New Normal. And you can also find me streaming on YouTube as Blind Knowledge Network, because all knowledge is blind until they admit Bigfoot exists.